Every year, close to 100 million Bibles are printed. That's a huge number, and sales have risen dramatically in the last few years, which makes me wonder, what's happening with all these Bibles? Are they being read, or are they sitting on a shelf gathering dust? Hi, I'm Susan, and I want to tell you all about the Bible. The Bible is meant to be opened and read. And one of the many reasons the Bible is fascinating is that on one hand, it's surprisingly simple and easy to read. At the same time, it was written thousands of years ago to a culture that looks nothing like ours. The distance can make some parts challenging, but that's also what makes it fascinating. The Bible has so many layers, you never get to the bottom of it. You can read it for a lifetime, and it will still reveal new things. And it's much more than just information. It's transformational. It reshapes the way we see God, ourselves, and the world around us. There really is nothing else like it. The Bible contains a total of 66 books, split into two sections, the Old Testament and the New Testament. 39 books in the Old, 27 books in the New. It's a whole library of books bound into one volume, written over a 1,500-year period by 40 different authors in 3 different languages on 3 different continents. What's truly incredible about it is that it tells one complete story. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's incredible, considering most of the authors didn't know each other. They didn't even live in the same millennium. There is no way they could have collaborated, and yet the Bible tells a coherent, continuous story. The story of the Bible can be condensed down into 4 words: creation, fall, redemption, and restoration. We see these themes repeated throughout the Bible, but they are also the overarching story. Genesis, the first book of the Bible, starts with the story of God creating the earth, the plants, the animals, and the first man and woman. Though living in paradise with direct access to God, Adam and Eve are dissatisfied. This dissatisfaction allows them to be tricked by Satan, and we have the fall. Sin has now entered the world and changed everything. There is no longer direct access to God, and now man has to labor and work. Pain and dysfunction soon make the world untenable. But there is hope. We see the first promise of redemption soon after the fall. Then, through a series of memorable stories, God chooses a person to start a nation. Through Abraham, we get the nation of Israel and God's chosen people, the Jewish people. The Old Testament weaves a beautiful tapestry of tantalizing stories. There are battles and betrayals, drama worthy of a soap opera, supernatural events, and the obvious conclusion that man isn't capable of living by God's design and law. Throughout these stories, we see God's grace and his mercy as people are constantly deceived and walk away from the structure God has put in place for their good, but he forgives and he restores. All along the way, we read about a promised Messiah, a king that will come to deliver God's people. The Old Testament ends before we see this fulfilled. It's the ultimate cliffhanger. And then, after 400 years of silence, the New Testament takes up the story. And in part 2, the long-awaited king, the Messiah, the Savior of the world, Jesus, is born. We read about his life and death in the first 4 books of the New Testament, the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These are Jesus' biographies. In the rest of the New Testament, we learn about the start of the church as we know it today, and how we are to live now that we are not under the law. This is the law that we read about in the first 5 books of the Old Testament: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. The Jewish people couldn't follow the law. No human can. That's why we need a Savior. We need redemption, someone to take our place, someone to pay for all the wrong that has been done. Someone had to follow the law perfectly, and that someone was Jesus. He was both God and man and was willing to suffer and die in our place. He willingly took the punishment that should be ours. And anyone who acknowledges that they are a sinner, needing of forgiveness, and accepts the free gift of salvation is now a child of God. And as a child of God, we learn how he wants us to live in the remaining books of the New Testament. We are now being restored, and we will continue to be restored until Jesus' second coming, when the world is fully restored. We read about this in the last and possibly most challenging book of the Bible, Revelation. That, in a nutshell, is the story of the Bible: creation, fall, redemption, restoration. One complete, united story told in 66 volumes contained in the book we call the Bible.